podcast where the community voices are heard and are amplified nationally. I am Portia Mbambo, and today we are joined by a fabulous and amazing guest. He doesn't need much introduction, especially if you're in the province of KwaZulu-Natal and internationally. But let me tell you this. Today's topic is looking into the ongoing series on the CRL Section 22 regulation that is up and coming, or that is still in the consultation process. We're looking into and tapping into what is the religious sector is saying. And today I'm joined by my bishop, Bishop Nathi Zondi, from the Truevine Community Church. Bishop, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us.
It's well, I was a bit shy when you were coming through. I was like, do I look presentable? So this the bishop is in the house. We're meeting in the time, Bishop, where there's a bit of a chaos in the religious sector, so to call it. There's conversations that are conveyed on both sides. Either you are in the either or side of the coin. But today I just want to talk to you and check on your perspective. Is the CRL Commission or the regulation appropriate for the sector?
Well, look, let's start here. The CRL Rights Commission is a Chapter 9 institution.
Yes.
From the South African Constitution. So it's a very important institution. It's conceptualized around protection of communities, more around the linguistic rights, cultural rights, as well as religious rights. So it's intended to protect South Africans' rights when it comes to their culture, their language, and their religious beliefs.
All right.
So it's a very, very important institution, and it's not new, by the way. It's an old institution. It started just after the promulgation of the Constitution, so it's been there.
Yes.
And it has had a series of commissioners and chairpersons in the process. So if I were to answer your question directly, it is a very important chapter. It actually falls in the same league as your South African Human Rights Commission, you know, your public protector. Those are all Chapter 9 institutions that they are accountable to Parliament. Those institutions. So if we were to be direct, South Africa needs this commission. It's an important commission.
Very important.
Yes, it's important in that way. But if I were to ask you and say, are they right for the religious sector? Yes, they are.
Right.
They are. From the Constitution, then all of these Chapter 9 institutions are governed by an act. Each one has got an act. For example, the CRL Rights Act governs the CRL Rights Commission.
Right.
It basically outlines what its powers and limitations are, what its role is, and so in that sense, it's correct as long as it plays by the book.
By the book.
Yeah.
Which is the Constitution.
Yes, which is the Constitution,
right.
But not only Constitution, also its own act.
Okay.
Its own act, because you see, the Constitution gives a framework, and then Parliament will then pass imitate or acts that are there to implement the various provisions of the Constitution. So in this instance, the CRL Act gives powers to the CRL Rights Commission to implement its mandate that is given by the Constitution. So basically that's what it is. So if we were to give a global view, I would say we need the CRL Rights Commission. We are okay with it. And we'll love it. It's important that it should be there.
Yeah.
Now, I guess your question comes from the fact that there is now an ongoing...
The national debate.
Debate between the religious sector and the current CRL. And mark my words, I'm saying the current CRL. But the problem is the current. See, the problem is really not the CRL.
Oh, okay.
The CRL is old.
Please unpack.
For example, currently the chairperson is Xaluva.
Yes.
Mamtogo Xaluva. Before then it was Professor Musoma.
Yes.
We had no problem. And then before that it was Xaluva. We had a problem.
Right.
And then before then there was another chairperson. So I think the conflict emanates from the current.
From the current.
Yes, the current.
So the outlook, because right now it feels like the national debate is coming from the accountability and religion, which is under the Section 22, which is there's two court cases right now that are faced by the CRL itself. But when you are just unpacking and saying it's within the leadership. So are we saying the current leadership is not really leading appropriately, Bishop, or are we saying the regulations that they are trying to put in place is what is causing the problems?
Yes. In fact, I'll be honest with you. I sit in the Council of Churches.
Yes.
I'm in the NEC of the South African Council of Churches.
Okay.
I am the provincial secretary of the Council of Churches in this province. I'm in the NSC of Itamasa.
Okay.
I'm also in the NSC of the IFCC. So I know exactly what the issues are. It's a good car that is driven wrongly.
Right.
So we can't rubbish the car when there's a bad driver.
Okay.
That's what is happening. The CRL is a good institution that is led badly by the current chair. That's where the problems are.
That's where the problem
exactly.
It's not the actual Section 22.
No, it's not the CRL. For example, if you listen to the grievances that most organizations are putting against the CRL have a lot to do with statements made by the chairperson in the media against religious groups, challenging their beliefs. Challenging their doctrines.
Right, especially the evangelical.
Exactly. So that's where the problem is. You cannot hope to get a support for people you rubbish or people you disrespect. You can't. You can't expect churches to sit back and allow you to just disrespect them and disrespect their leadership. And disrespect their beliefs and undermine their doctrines and hope they'll just fold their arms. That's why they are marching. That's why they are fighting back.
Right.
And the question is, why didn't they fight back when Professor Musoma was chair?
Because the regulation
was chair. Yeah, because the CRL was there. You see, it's a good car driven badly by a bad driver. That's what is happening here.
Right.
And so you would ask me, why do I say that? Churches generally are not opposed to regulation.
Okay.
All that Christians have asked for is self-regulation.
Right.
Yes, the concept of self-regulation. Actually, as a matter of fact, Parliament, this issue was in Parliament in 2017 and 2018. And about 39 groupings, Christian national organizations presented there. Most of them opposed government control. What religious institutions are opposing is government control over religion. That's what they are opposing. They are not necessarily opposing regulation.
Okay.
No, I'm yet to hear anyone who's opposing regulation. They are not anti-regulation, as in totality. The idea is, okay, let churches or religious institutions regulate themselves. That's the issue.
What does that mean, Mfundisi, to umuntu who's not used to the concept? What does self-regulation look like?
If it's been there for a long time.
Yes.
If you go to Catholics, they've been regulating themselves for hundreds of years. If you go to Lutherans, they've been regulating themselves for hundreds of years. If you go to Anglicans, if you go to Apostolic Faith Mission, if you go to Assemblies of God, for example, there's clear regulation how you progress until you are ordained. And there's clear regulation on how you are inducted into running a church.
Right.
And there's clear regulation on how you are disciplined if you cross the line. There's clear regulation on how you even become a member of the church. That's self-regulation. If you go to almost most churches, especially older churches, have a clear self-regulation mechanism.
Yes.
You know, that's what it looks like. It looks like if you go to, I work, in the province, I chair the Interreligious Council here. Okay. There are Muslims, there are Baha'i, there are Hindus, there are Shembe, all of them are regulated.
Right.
They know exactly how to become an imam.
Okay.
It's clear, there's a clear regulation on how.
So there's no one who's feeding another petrol and snake and rats?
No, look, they will be there. They will be there. Because that's another myth we must debunk. You know, that religious institutions are trying to protect people who are doing all funny things. Yes. Religious institutions are very clear, and churches are very clear. Whoever breaks the law must be charged.
By the law.
By the law. That's why Omotoso was charged. That's why Bushiri was charged. If you go to Westville prison there, you'll find a lot of pastors there. Yes, you'll even find a lot of Shembe pastors and who have been charged based either they abused children, etc. The law must take its course.
Right.
So the fact that 10% or even 5% of people break the law, therefore it means all of us must now be controlled by the state. It's a fallacy. Right. It's something that we will not agree to, you know. So if you break the law, in other words, you see, in law there is no crime that is specific to a specific people.
Yeah.
Thief is a thief, whether it's in church or is sleeping down the road. Why do you want to make a law specific for Christians? So a thief is a thief.
Right.
So if I steal the church money today, I must be charged for theft.
Right.
There's no pastoral theft. No, there's no pastoral theft. A thief is a thief. So if I abuse women today, I abuse my wife, or I abuse children, there's a crime, the specific crimes for that. Yeah. And so the Criminal Procedure Act must take its course, and a person must be arrested, charged, and sent to prison. That's what Christians have said. So what CRL is saying is they want to take advantage of those who've abused the system in order to pass a law to control religion. And we are saying no. You can't on the basis of 1 or 2 or 3 or even 10 or even 100 people. Because remember, when we talk about Christians, we're talking about 85% of 62 million people. Let's start there. So if you say Christians, you are talking about almost 85% of the population of 62 million people. So it means even if you have 10 people, you have 100 pastors. They still, in terms of percentage,
they're not covering.
They are very, very small percentage. So you can't therefore say because of those, you are now going to say the state must pass their law to control religion. That's what religious institutions are against. They are not against regulation. They are not against ethics. They are not against being held accountable, you know. But what they will not allow is to hand over their beliefs to a state.
We had that conversation with Mama Kaluva last week. She was touching on exactly what you just said. She says there needs to be an accountability and ethics and regulations, which is cool and fine because that is touching on the act itself, as you explained, and the constitution of the country. But one thing that I ask her is, how are you going to regulate a calling? Because being called into the ministry of God is not a career. You are called to lead, to be a vessel in the house of the Lord. And we had a lot of back and forth there. She even mentioned Zangoma were regulated, but they're still ongoing there. Now, you are touching on a very important point that I feel many people are actually asking. Now, when one says there needs to be a self-regulation, What about then the small fishes? Because in Fundisi, let's walk around Durban itself, just the CPD.
Right.
There's the small tuck shops of churches all over
Right.
that I don't believe they are regulated somewhere. I haven't checked, so I cannot verify. But when you look at it, it's just a flat. Somebody was staying there, and you know, for those, what then can be done? Because I'm happy that you are here. You are sitting in all those positions and important church associations that I feel are really, really fundamental for this conversation. How are you then going to make sure that everybody's accountable?
I think for me that's a very important debate. I think that's where the debate should be.
Yes.
In my view, you really have hit the nail on the head. What the CRL should be doing. You see the name of the CRL. Let's unpack it.
Right.
It's actually called the Commission for the Promotion and Protection.
Yes.
So of religious, linguistic, and cultural rights. That's what it is. So in other words, it's created to promote
and protect.
Part of promoting is also development, is also empowerment. You see, that is where, in my view, the CRL should be coming in.
Right.
And answering that question and saying, Christians, how do we help you ensure that the small man is also has a system of self-regulation, is also part of the self-regulation? Because I'll tell you why one of the reasons why the smaller churches struggle, for example, with compliance issues, and because there are compliance issues, accountability issues, is because it can be expensive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. To hire an accountant to do your books, how much is it? I mean, we've just done our church now. Just 6,000 rands to do an annual report for the books, you know, and a church with 50 members in Mayville cannot afford that. You see, for example, I'm just talking about financial accountability.
Yes.
To have a bookkeeper takes it
requires money.
Yeah, but also sometimes people don't have information and knowledge, which is where an institution created to promote religion should come in. The problem is CRL sees itself more for protection, but not for promotion.
Right.
You see, every time you hear them is when they talk about wrongdoing. They talk about they are driving a car that's not balanced. You protect, but you promote.
Right.
Promoting means you create an environment where people can practice their religious beliefs of their choice freely in an environment that is highly empowering. You know, so I think for me, churches that are bigger, organizations like ours, plus the CRL, should really be partnering in helping those that don't have a system of self-regulation in place comply, and give them instruments and tools of compliance. You know, do workshops rather than policing.
Yeah.
You do workshop rather than see yourself as a police.
Just give a skill.
Give a skill.
Right.
Give a skill, give resources, create platforms, do workshops, help these pastors and these smaller churches. But it's not even smaller churches. Some of the African indigenous churches, like you know, you grew up in environments where kukhona amandla leZion lapha elikhonzela kwaMkhize kwaZondi, and it's also an old church and it's really doing no harm.
No,
quite frankly. Bayakhonzela nje basingena ebusuku abaxabana namuntu, bayakhonzele bakhonza uNkulunkulu, and laqalwa umkhulu Zondi manje seliphethwa yimina, and likhula kanjalo, and happy and they're okay and they have a right, they're exercising their right. Yours is to come in and say, how can I help you? How can I help you comply so that you are protected? And how can I help you as well be accountable? And how can I help you create a system of accountability within your practice? That's where the CRL should be coming in.
Right.
And that's where maybe organizations like your councils of churches should be coming in, you know, because your question is, how do we make sure? I would say, firstly, empower. Empower. Start with empowerment. Right. Focus on empowerment rather than policing. You see, right. You don't police what you have not empowered. I don't demand on my children what I've not given them. You know, God does not even demand on us on what He has not given us. Right. I would say, as a state institution, you have a budget. Instead of using that budget chasing churches, use that budget empowering. Right. You know, rather than using all the platform, radio and television, castigating, bedeviling, rather than use that platform to empower.
So just give education.
Give education. Yes. Give education. Give workshops. Call conferences here in Durban for all those churches, not to police them, but to empower them. You know, and for me, that's a better route. Rather than traveling the whole country policing, travel the whole country empowering. You know?
The 3rd of April is just around the corner.
Yes.
There is going to be I believe it's a group of people that are going to come and sit down. I'm not sure. Do you know what is going to be happening?
No. Look, I don't know, but as far as I know, there was last year a Section 22 committee that was formed, and its terms of reference was to create and develop a framework. Okay. That's what they call. It's called a framework. It's more a regulation framework. Okay. Develop a regulation framework, and the idea was to then take that framework into all provinces. And I guess that's what they are coming for. Okay. All provinces, and then we deliberate on the framework, etc. Which is what I think most Christian churches are. Those organizations are against. Yes. Yeah. You know, and they are not even against the framework. As far as I'm concerned, yes. They're against how this Section 22 was formed. But some of them say, but we were not consulted.
Exactly, because what people are saying is, when you read the comments on our socials, they say it's a top-down approach. Yes. Nobody said, come, let's sit down and deliberate. Tell us what you want, what is needed, and then they formulate something out of that.
Yeah, that's what happened. Like I told you, I said it's a good car driven badly. That's what that's what the process is. It's a good car with a bad driver. You know, that's what happens. Because even the Section 22 committee comes, actually the CRL has a right to form a committee. It's empowered by the Act. Right. The CRL Rights Act empowers them to form the committee. In other words, they have a right to form it. But how they formed it is what makes resistance. For example, some of the organizations were never invited. You know, they were never invited to be represented. Right. And then it was, even the chairperson was just announced who chairs the committee. And then most organizations said, but we don't know this man. You know, where did you get him from? Whoa. I mean, if you have organizations like the SACC say, but we don't know the man. Yeah. You have there's consent. You have IFCC national say, but we don't know the man. And then we have this one says we don't know this person. And then only you know the person. And then next thing, the same person resigns and says, because this thing is called Section 22, but it's driven by this chairperson. Right. I'm called chairperson by name. And it was in the media. Yes. It was in the Professor Kulu was in the media.
Yes, we're supposed to have it.
Saying, but I'm called chair, but she chairs it. And I'm telling you, it's driven badly. Yeah. You see, that's where the opposition comes from. And then we went and met the chair, and we say, we present about 12 concerns. Here are the list of concerns. And we say, one of them is, firstly, we did not know him. Now when he resigns, he tells us that actually you are chairing the thing. And you are saying it's self-regulation. How does a thing become self-regulation if you chair it? You know, for example, if I say to you today, look, I'm giving you freedom. You are going to decide yourself. You are going to determine direction, etc.
Right.
I'm only empowered by the Act to form a structure for you, and then you will form the structure yourselves to develop something, a framework for yourself. Then I come back, I said, this one is your chair. Okay. But then you said, I'm chair, I'll never chair, you still chair. So those were...
So the actual seat is not mine.
It's not mine.
Not
so
at
it's,
all.
so what the CRL is driving is called self-regulation by name. But the churches still say, but it's state control. Because you are appointed by the state. And you are driving it.
Right.
And the people who sit there were chosen by you. So it's therefore not self-regulation. That's where the problem is.
That's where the cracks are.
So the problem is not that Christians or churches are anti-regulation. No. They don't want. They say we are for self-regulation. In fact, some churches say for hundreds of years we've been self-regulating. It's not a new thing. And I've listed you the names of churches.
Absolutely.
The Catholics have been self-regulating. The Seventh Adventists have been self-regulating. The Salvation Army have been self-regulating. The Presbyterians are self-regulating. The Apostolic Faith Mission. So you are not bringing anything new.
Yeah.
So they know. But what they are saying, you call it self-regulation, but you drive it.
You're still the driver.
You are still the driver, and those who are part are handpicked by you.
Yeah.
That's where the problem is.
So it was the selection, actually.
Exactly.
Now, as we conclude, let's now look into the broader perspective. Ms. Kulumange, religion, religion. Right. You just mentioned that you chair with Hindus, Islams, but I also just received in a few minutes ago, before you came through, there was a text actually that have given me like a lot to think about. It's coming from the CRL itself, and this one is coming from the head office, and it says the South African Hindu community is noting the serious concerns of the attempts of the CRL right in advance of establishing the so-called Section 22 Committee for the Hindu community. So it feels like the entire religious spectrum is just not happy with the Section 22. Manje, vala kanjani? What are we saying to the churches? What are we saying to the congregants, to the entire religious sector as we conclude this conversation? Do we say each and every church should go and really read? We'll put it out on the social media as well, the Section 22. I think it's about 17 pages, if I'm not mistaken. What exactly are we putting to assist the entire nation? Because when you're saying it's 85% of the nation that is Christians, that means people need to be informed, they need to be educated about this.
Well, I think that's where my earlier comment comes in. That's where my earlier comment comes in. I think firstly, CRLs should first see churches as partners. Yeah, as partners, not as subjects to be policed. And also other religious institutions, whether Hindu or Muslim, as partners. They are not opponents. They are not fighting you.
Right.
See them as partners. The moment you see them as partners, you will know that you will win better if you consult them and work with them. Because remember, these people go to these churches every week.
Yeah.
They love them. They respect them. They're not going to hate them because you have now arrived. Right. So they'll love them. So for example, I can't hope to win the Shembe people by castigating their leaders. Right. They'll still love them.
Absolutely.
With or without me. So these church members will still come to church with or without the CRL. So the CRL therefore must, in my view, see these organizations, whether Hindu structures or Muslim structures or African indigenous religious practitioners, see them as your partners. And with them, craft a strategy. With them, the key word is with them, not for them. Not for them. With them, craft a strategy that will promote accountability and that will promote self-regulation. And I think if we adopted that route, we then have a better chance of winning. In my view, the church on its own as well cannot hope and wish the CRL away. No, I think we must say that all religious institutions, because it's a Chapter 9 institution, it's in the Constitution.
Yeah.
It's there by law. So you can't wish it away. However, the CRL too cannot wish us away. They just cannot wish us away. We are here. We were there before the CRL. So the churches were here long before the CRL was formed.
So one of these these structures
they need each
other.
They just need each other. They just need. Unfortunately, we have one that thinks they can bully. You see, unfortunately, we have one that thinks that can just bully, and unfortunately, it's not going to work that way. You know, until they see each other as partners. You see, in other words, when the chairperson of the CRL comes to a public platform, he must know that he's addressing partners.
Not subjects.
Not subjects. Yes. You know, and again, the church must also know that they are addressing CRL as partners because it's a constitutionally created institution. It's a Chapter 9 institution. And by the way, we cannot, for example, as a church, also destroy the CRL. Why? Because we need the CRL.
Yes.
Our cultural rights, live religion. Cultural rights also needs to be protected.
And the languages.
And the language rights needs to be protected. There's still a lot of language groups that still need protection, empowerment in this country. So if you have a weakened CRL, you are weakening yourself. So these institutions are needed. CRL is very much a needed institution, and it must be protected.
That's nice.
But at the same time, the CRL must know that these people that they serve are partners. They're not subjects.
Listen, may I just put you on the spot a little bit? One thing that I've noticed of late, and I know that my producer is looking at the time, but I'm just asking this one as we just conclude. Do we see an emerging political party that is, I know the SACP. No.
SACD.
It's SACD. Why am I?
That's the church defenders.
Yes, SACD. And I know there's Parliament. There is also Pastor Mushwes or Reverend Mushwes also political parties. But are we seeing an emergence of a formalized political party out of this?
I don't know. I really would be direct. I don't know because I don't know. The reason why I'm direct, my answer is to your question is as direct as that. Is because I'm not part of those groupings.
Right.
You know, but I know them very well because I work with them. I'm not really sure. I wouldn't know. I must say in politics they say in politics a week is as short as a day, and a day can be a week in politics.
Yes.
So you can never guarantee anything. So that's why I'll say I don't know, because in politics you don't know. You know with politics you'll find people you never ever thought will work with together. You'll find them together. You'll find them working together. Next day you hear them insulting each other. So I wouldn't know. Yeah. But in as far as I know, which is publicly stated by these different groupings, they haven't really declared that. They haven't really indicated anything like that. I don't know why you are asking that question.
I'm just asking. I'm observant.
I don't know what you have. I'm not sure what you have observed lately, and what leads you to wonder if there could be something like that. I don't know. I operate in an ecumenical space. Generally, it's spaces that bring various churches together to work together. That's the spaces I operate in. And those spaces most of them are quite clear. They are apolitical, they're not, well, let me say they're non-partisan. They're not apolitical. We are not apolitical. we are, but there's a difference between being apolitical and being non-partisan.
Yeah.
When we say we're non-partisan, it means we do not necessarily support one party over the other. We do not pursue objectives of any party, political party. We don't even align ourselves with any political party. However, we're not apolitical, meaning we do challenge issues. Yeah.
Apprentice, I am going to request you on camera to have another conversation, because there are many other issues that we must unpack for our community. The stands on the current ongoing wars, and so forth. So I feel like that needs its own episode as well. To just sit down and we talk about this and then unpack for sometimes we don't know things, but we do know our Bible. So how does these things work together, and what do they mean? But I'm so honored to have you today. I feel so blessed.
It's my honor. It's been my privilege to engage with you, and thank you for having me in this difficult platform.
Not difficult, very, very.
I look, we will make time. If you need us, we'll come to engage. I know you are thinking of some of the global issues.
Absolutely.
And where the church stands and where the Bible stands. We can engage that.
I will muchly appreciate that. Thank you so much, Bishop, for the time.
Welcome.
Well, to you, our African Echo family, thank you so much for being with us. Do stay tuned, because the series is still ongoing. We're still going to have Professor Olu to talk to us about his times in the CRL and what does that mean and what are we looking forward to. Well, there's so much more that is still ongoing. Stay tuned. Well, we'll be back again on the next episode. Goodbye.